to life, spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum. Pinon coffee. Biscochito. Pretty good. Wait a few minutes, see who gets on here. Just want to hear from everybody about what is going on with them. How are they feeling? How are you guys doing in this time? Are you guys staying sane? Are you figuring out new ways to live your life? Are you afraid? Are you sad? Are you worried? If you have anxiety? What's coming up for you guys? Is what I want to know. And so far, no one's on here, so it's hard to tell what anybody's doing or what they're up to. I can tell you what I'm going through right now, since we don't have people on here. Things are, they're getting a little bit more wonky. And I was sort of listening to a Spirit and Coffee that I did about a year ago, talking about the polarities and the magnetic fields shifting and talking about the energy shift and how things were going to get crazy and looking at as within, so without, as above, so below. Right now, we're at a time where it's called, in a smaller form, it's called a stretch. I called it a tower event as well, but also a stretch. A stretch is something like when you think about, good morning, commenced. When you're thinking about a rubber band, right, and you stretch out a rubber band, it never really goes back to the way it was before. It never truly goes back to its same shape. So we're at a time right now where what I would call, it's like the rubber band effect, right? It's like the rubber band is getting pulled and stretched, and it may not go back to the way it was before. That's uncomfortable, and it could shed a lot of uncertainty in people. Good morning, Frederick. 960. Good morning on Facebook. Whoever got on here. So my question to you is, what are you guys doing for yourself to get through this trying time? What is it that you guys are up to? Please share. I would love to hear from you guys. I can tell you that for me, I'm able to connect with my family a little deeper, a little bit more. We're starting to get back to the basics, like playing card games, like Uno, and watching movies and hanging out and dancing and singing, and all that kind of stuff, which is nice. On the other end, there's still a lot of uncertainty and not very much clarity about what is going to happen to our professions, what is going to happen to our financial systems, what is going to happen. We all have bills to pay. Nobody escapes that for sure. So how do we get through this? People getting laid off, people, probably whole companies are going to be shutting down because of this. What's happening right now. And so I think people, are you starting to question what's valuable, what's important to them. I did a meditation yesterday that was a guided meditation for the lungs. And I sort of want to talk about the lungs because we know that this thing it impacts our lungs. Okay. Now, I myself have a very powerful connection to the lungs because I have asthma. I'm a child with asthma. I was born and raised with asthma. And when I was a kid, if I did any kind of exercise that was strenuous, good morning, Donna, that I wouldn't be able to breathe. Okay. And not having breath is one of the most scary, terrible things that you can go through because we are the breath of life. In other words, we can go without food and water for a very long time, but we cannot go without our breath. So I did a meditation for the lungs and started to realize the connection between how we've suffocated our earth and now we're looking at getting suffocated or drowning because of this thing that came out as well. So when we look at it, there's parallels there. The trees that have been, the deforestation, everything that we've done to this planet um, tore it down and all that. And have we all participated in it? Yes. And some people say, well, no, I don't believe in that. The reality is everybody is you. Everything around us is an extension of who we are, right? You're you're welcome, Donna. Also, you can go on and check out that meditation that I did if you're interested. It was on my Instagram live, Spirit and Coffee One, on Instagram, and go through the meditation. It's longer. We did a whole discussion for an hour, but you don't have to stay on for that long thing if you don't want to. Um, but we are connected. The lungs are connected to us. The heart. There's things we take for granted in our body that we don't even see the connection to, like our heart. Until our heart is doing something weird or causing pain, we forget that it's there. We kind of just go on about our business, right? We don't realize we're breathing. It's a natural thing. It's the natural rhythm of life. When we were born, they didn't have to teach us to breathe. That was something that came naturally. Good morning, Betty. So I did this meditation for the lungs. And I say that, and prayer for the lungs. And I ask that anybody who's on here, anybody who's going through this, that, hey, Lisa, that you guys also do prayers for the lungs, and that you guys really start to honor the fact that we have this body or this vessel or this temple or this church that was gifted to us, and that we start to take a time out to honor and respect it. Okay, because this is the suit that we've been given. This is the armor we've been given by, the great design, by God, by the grand thing. We didn't make it. We didn't create it. We didn't sculpt it or put it together. It's just here, right? I didn't put myself together. I'm here. So, in this form, and whatever's keeping me together is something more powerful than I am. I'm not keeping me together. My cells in my body, I'm not giving them the directions to do what they need to do, right? There's something else instructing every cell of my body to work together. So remember that we have this magnificent body, and that this particular body that you have will never manifest in the exact same way ever again. And that to me is magnificent. That in itself is a miracle. The fact that you will never be exactly as you are ever again. In any minute, too, any moment. Even identical twins are not identical. There's always something different. Okay. Which is pretty cool. We all have our unique fingerprint in the world. And fingerprint, yes, our thumb fingerprint, our fingerprint, but also our unique way of expressing the world. We're all individually unique in our own right. So remember that. Remember your uniqueness in this time. Remember that you have gifts to offer during this time. So my question to you is, what is it that you guys are doing? How are you feeling? What is coming up for you in this time? Is everybody feeling okay? Are they afraid? Are they um, having some kind of worries? If so, what is that worry for you? And you guys can share. I know that there's a lot of concerns going on, and not just concerns of, like, this virus or whatever else, but concerns in, like, families. And are your families getting along? Sometimes families don't get along, and that becomes a big issue, because now that's starting to surface, right? Because who do we go to for support? Are you guys afraid you're not going to have the support you need, or the resources? Like, anybody, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys feeling okay? Are some of you like, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm content? Anybody? No? Good morning, Sally. I will tell you this. There's Good morning, Gypsy. There are there is some very heavy sort of matter going on right now. I could feel it in my body. Um, so a lot of what's been happening around the world beyond this virus and all the financial collapse and systems and whatever is going on globally, they're doing something called chemtrails that I've talked about before. And they put God knows what into the atmosphere. I have no idea because I'm not a scientist. I'm not putting together the concoction that throws out whatever they're throwing out of the planes into the atmosphere. Um, and I'm almost certain that they probably put heavy metals into the atmosphere that we breathe in. Heavy metals in our body does us no bueno. Mercury, we know that, aluminum, all that kind of stuff is no good for our body. It doesn't help us, it makes us sick, all that stuff. Now, in the time that we're going on right now, uh yeah, Um, so I'll read your comment in just a second, Betty. But the heavy metals plus this 5G that's come in, and I've known about 5G and chemtrails for a very long time. Didn't know how to really stop it from happening. I mean, there's certain things that you just don't have control over. How do I control that? How do I? I've asked God, show me what I need to do. How do I? And part of it's surrender. Like it's really hard, but I know that what's being put in the atmosphere beyond this thing is the our bodies are basically not able to take it. So right now we're not necessarily in a physical war more than we are a mental war at this point with ourselves. So right now your spiritual body is being tested. And it's an opportunity for us to wake up our spiritual body. It's an opportunity for us to recognize, remember who we are, and kind of wake up out of the slumber of what's been going on because we've sort of been asleep for a while. Some of us, not all of us, but some of us have been sort of asleep. Why? Because life was easy. We didn't realize how easy life was. I mean, we had everything we needed, right? Everything was sort of like even we worried about the homeless and stuff, but even with the homeless they had resources. Now everything's been cut off. There are no, I don't know where the resources are. Bonjour, thank you, Mobin. And please, those of you that are out of the country, please give us an update as to what's going on in your country. Please tell us how you're feeling. Wake up, wake up, wake up. That's right. Let me see what Betty said. I love it. She's sharing. And please share, you guys. I'd love for you guys to share. um oops, I'm trying to see more. I'm going on, turn the TV on and the same old stuff over and over. So changing it, better time in life, leave it to Beaver. Oh, Beverly Hillbillies. Going on with organizing my house, working on my yard, and I can't see the rest of it. Oh, there we go. My twin sons told me years ago, Mama, don't worry about the end of the world. If it ends, we're all going together. That's right. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And it's not the end of the world, you guys. People are afraid that it's the end of humanity. Totally different. Okay. The earth itself is so old and ancient, it's not going anywhere. We as a species may go extinct. That's a possibility, right? Eventually. Nothing lasts forever. The dinosaurs went extinct. There's endangered species right now, and there's species who go extinct every day. What we're trying to do right now, if you thought about this virus as a living thing, it we are trying to make it go extinct as well. So the virus will fight for survival just like we'll fight for survival, right? Or anything, not just the virus, but we had Spanish flu, we had all these different things show up and we try to kill them out off um, to make them go extinct, right? Thinking that they're completely different. Really, we're afraid of them because they kill us off and we want to live. So when you take out the emotion and you look at it from the facts, things become a little bit more clear, right? And then when we put the emotion back in, we want to survive. And so it gets a little emotional for us because we're like, well, maybe we're not ready to go. Good morning, Ralph William. Um, so there's a lot of angles and ways to look at this. Good morning, Kini. If you guys have any updates in your country, I would love to hear them. Also, if you guys want to share where you are in your mindset, in your spiritual well-being, what's coming up for you, please share as well. I would love to support you through that. But yes, wake up is the big deal. I know I've been telling you guys for a long time to wake up, those who've been following me for a long time. The reality is I know that people are waking up. I know that people are remembering. I continue to do this because I love you guys, and I want you to know that you guys are magnificent and that you guys are love. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, okay? Um, am I selling? I would love to sell coffee mugs. Thank you for asking, Ralph. I actually was going to start to do merchandise, but looks like that's kind of on pause as things are going on. Um, and thanks, Ralph. Um, tell me, Ralph, what's going on where you're at? Are you guys I'm suppose you're in a quarantine, right? I know you're in the US. I think you've told me that before. I don't remember exactly where you're from. But good morning, Sandra. Um, but yes, once I get the mugs up and going, if things go back, right now I'm quarantined in Pennsylvania. It's snowing. Oh no. Well, you had to be quarantined if it's snowing, probably. Anyway, get stuck in the house on those snow days. Those people who get trapped in snow were they're prepared for this. Also, the individual people who have learned to sort of love themselves and be by themselves, this isn't as hard. So people that are very social, people that are very like I have a couple of people in my house right now who are social creatures and never are home. They're always out doing something, and it's getting very hard for them to just come home and just be here. Um, so it's gonna drive people a little mad. Your I don't want to say demons, but kind of like your demons are gonna start to surface, right? And you're gonna have to look at that, and you're gonna have to understand what to do with it. And it may not be easy for some because some people don't really like to deal with their stuff that way. Some people will continue to like keep themselves busy, right? And they keep themselves busy in order to what? To avoid sort of what is coming up because they don't want to face it. Well, now we're being forced to face it. We're being forced to face it. Is it good? Yes. Is there some scary parts? Yes. Um, I think for me, I think the scariest part for me is not being able to be mobile. Okay. I think so I'm going to share my fear. My fear is just not being able to be mobile. I like to move around a lot. I like to travel, and travel's a big part of my life. And I get, for me, I can't sit still. So this is a big practice of sit still, don't move, try to stay as grounded as possible because I get the urges to want to leave. And for me to not to feel like my freedom's being taken, that to me is a big fear. Okay. That's probably one of the greatest fears that I have. Okay. Is that I can't, I'm chained up and I can't move anywhere. Like I would go crazy, right? So for me, movement is important. There's other ways to move besides across the country. So how do we take what we know to be true for us and rearrange it into something that can be helpful? Okay, how do we kind of shift it into something that's going to support us in moving forward? So I would say I've been going and hiking, right? I'll go to the woods, do my exercises, those kind of things to keep me moving, keep me motivated, keep me grounded. If I needed to do a pilgrimage across the mountains, maybe that's something I would do. I don't know. Take a tent, go live out in nature, something like that for me, because that for me feeds my soul, right? I love that. I love to be out and about and traveling and exploring. Well, right now I can't go explore the countries. We're not allowed, which to me is very sad because this planet was given to us by God. Who's to tell me I can't move around? So those things come up for me. But part of it is surrender, like surrender to the new norm. Like literally, if I try to go to another country, which I don't even know how to be possible unless I got on a boat, would be like, honey, you're not going to do this. Does social media help you move? I don't like social media, but I learned it is needed nowadays. Yeah, thanks for the question, Ralph. For me, social media is it helps me to get clarity in my brain, in my mind, in my spirit. That's why I get on here. I get on social media so that I can support because I need to reach my audience where they're at, and right now that's where they are. So social media to me helps me kind of communicate that which is coming up. It helps me communicate in spirit to other people and in hopes that it'll help others in some way. Good morning, Lolo. So hopefully people that stay on, there's some nuggets there for them. There's some gems. There's, something there that's going to support them and help them through their day or through any kind of event that they might be going through. And right now we're all going through it. The entire world, okay? I think maybe with the exception of a few countries who don't have 5G, by the way, if you want to look at that. Um, hey, scrambling around looking for channels. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're here, Lolo. Thank you for scrambling over here. You got mad germs or mad gems. I'm sorry. I thought it said germs. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, I probably do have germs. Don't worry, I wash my hands. Which is, it's crazy. I'm like, people don't wash their hands? Is that really a thing? Oh, Frank, what a coincidence. Yeah, so for us, it's looking at how do we make the best of what is happening at this particular time in our life. I got on my own personal social media, my own personal Facebook, and I put on some music and started to do the funky chicken and dance around. And I told people to get up and dance. Why? Because we cannot wait on people to give us joy in this time. We cannot wait for people to make us smile and laugh. Those things are an internal thing. Now is the time for you to really understand and get this. Like last night, so my we were playing Uno. It's a card game for those you might not know, maybe from other countries or maybe you do. I don't know. But Uno, it's a card game, and it's really the easiest card game on the planet, right? It's very simple. You can come up with a strategy, but um, it goes on forever. Uno can go on forever and ever and ever. Well, um, we were playing, and for some reason, somebody put a card down that didn't even match, wasn't even the right color. And I was like, wait, what are you doing? And in their mind, I don't know what they were thinking, but we all started laughing, right? It was just funny. And we couldn't stop laughing. And it was nice to sit around and to have a laugh, right? But that joy and that happiness isn't going to come from an outside source. That's something that's inside of you, right? It's something that you bring. If you're feeling down and blue, get up and do a funky chicken dance. I don't know, do something silly, because you bring the silliness, you bring the happiness, you bring the joy. It's not outside of you. But we can remember that happiness and joy still exists in a world that is going so, it seems almost gloomy, right? When you go to a ghost town, because everything's starting to look kind of ghost towny ish. When it looks ghost town, there's this like heavy, kind of sad energy, right? It's like, it's weird. It's this weird energy that you feel. But you have that energy of happiness and joy within you that you can bring to it. Start laughing, fake laugh. You can start to fake laugh. I laugh all the time. It's a natural tendency of mine. But, not everybody has that natural tendency to laugh. Some people don't, but fake laugh, and eventually you'll start to laugh. Find that inner joy as well during this time. No one's going to bring it to you. No one's going to hand you over an ice cream cone of joy and say, eat this and you will feel all the joy in the world. Okay, you bring the joy to the ice cream. Totally opposite. Like you're joyful because of the ice cream, not because you're joyful. Your joy comes internally, basically. So stop waiting for people to make you happy. Ask yourself, how do I make myself happy? Yes, turning off the TV is a great one. We know what's going on. Everybody understands what's going on. Yes, there's going to be more power moves by the government. We know that that this is not just about this virus. There's other power moves being played right now. I told you guys, look at the magic tricks that happen. And I've said this before on other videos. What happens is they tell you to look here, right? This is magic 101. They tell you to look at all this craziness. Keep looking at the virus, keep looking at the virus. And over here, they're slowly doing other things. They're stirring up other things. Okay. It's not about this alone. It's about so much more. And I think people are starting to wake up and get that. Can we stop it? Well, we can continue to remember who we are. We can pray to God. We can ask for refuge, and we can ask God to release us from this madness and these chains. Prayer is, God will show up. Yeah, Macarena. That's funny. I live alone. What can I do? That's silly. Oh, dance. Do you have music, Lolo? I I'll put on music. And the other day I put on gospel music because I love gospel music on Sunday, and I was just dancing and preaching and praying, and that was fun. And I did it on my Facebook Live for people. So I was like, look, if I can be silly, so can you, right? Um, and that's what I did. And I love listening to gospel music on Sunday. It's just soulful, and I love soul music. I do dance every night at 8. At 8. I had to set a time. Yay, good. So do funny dances, Do some funky chickens. I like to say the funky chicken because it's funny. The sprinkler, make up some new dances. I don't know. Look in the mirror, make faces at yourself. I used to do that as a kid. I still do that. Like make some faces. I have coffee tongue. Sorry, guys. Make faces. Ooh, like that. Okay. Make faces in the mirror. I don't know. Get up, get dressed, put on a bunch of makeup, pretend that you're going to a ball. Get creative. Use your imagination. Sky's the limit. Who cares? I don't. I might even do that. I might even get ready and glamorous and then put on music and dance around like I'm at a ball. You know, dance with the broom. I don't know. You guys can totally get creative with this. I always started to tea party. Yeah, tea party. You could be the Mad Hatter. you know, Anything. Start to use your imagination. This is where imagination, your inner, this is an opportunity to connect to your inner childlike innocence. When you were a kid and you were in a sense of wonder and anything was possible. Why? Because we can do it now. We can make sky's the limit. We can make up whatever we want. We used to do this thing when we were kids and make little tent houses around the house and pretend that we were like in a tent city. And then we'd put our little books in there and we'd crawl in. And, I love doing that. And I was like, man, maybe I want to do a little shelter like that just for fun, just to reconnect with my childlike innocence, my kid self, do some yoga. If you're alone, FaceTime someone. Yeah. Also, you can use technology. Make a fort. That's right. I was making forts. I'm gonna start doing that. I get creative. Like I can never be bored because I I'm creative. I'll take things apart, old electronics, take them apart, see what's inside. New recipes. There's so much you can do, and so many different things that you can engage in. Color. I started coloring the other day. You can paint if you have paints. You can write if you're a writer. You can write. Now's a good time to write about what's going on. I mean, there's just so much you can do. People are sewing masks. You can start sewing. You can, start, I don't know, making quilts, crocheting. Betty crochets. She crochets even when this wasn't happening. So, adult coloring books, yes, the cool ones like I forget what they're called, but they're like I don't remember the name of it, but I had a 7-hour phone call with a former friend last night. Yeah, that's awesome. We're reconnecting in a different way now too. We're not just text messaging. We're actually having whole conversations with people. I'm a text messenger, so I'll just tell you that I have a lot. I used to have a lot going on with my life, constantly on the go, constantly moving. My life has slowed a little bit, but it's still, I have a lot to do. So I keep myself busy doing the things that I've got to do. Yeah, not talking to on one today. Remember back in the day when we used to talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend or friends till the mornings? That combo wore me out. Yeah. So it wears us out because we don't really know how to do it anymore. We haven't exhausted that energy out like we used to. It takes less energy to communicate at this point through text message and all these other outlets. Um, really short sentences. Me, I talk a whole lot. I'm a chatterbox, obviously. I wouldn't be doing podcasts if I wasn't consistently. And I don't know that I've ever run out of words to say. I've been like that since I was a child, though. So there you go. Talk, 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 talk. But I said, if I'm going to talk, I might as well talk about things, hopefully, that'll help and support the world rather than talk about, nonsense or whatever. Try to at least support people. Um, yes, I remember when we used to talk. So remember, we used to talk until, yeah, I would fall asleep on the phone with my friends. I remember that. We would talk forever and then we'd just pass out because we didn't want to hang up on each other. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Also, go out to nature if you can. Social distancing doesn't mean no nature. You can still take walks. Just don't try not to make it so bold. Here's the deal. The more that we surrender to what is happening and we pay attention to what's happening, the faster that it may not go back to the way it was before. Nothing will ever go back to the way it was before. And I hope people start to realize this. But if we over exaggerate and we start acting crazy, and I saw this group of people riding their motorcycles down the road together, they were not listening to what they were being told. And here's the deal. We can have defiance when we feel like our life is threatened. At this point, there's no life threatening thing at this point. Okay. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel like someone's going to come in and shoot me for no reason. Okay. But what's happening is people start to act crazy and not pay attention. And then they draw attention to themselves from the authorities. And then it's those people that really shift the energy into making things worse for everybody. So there's a time to stand up and be a warrior. Okay. But now is not the time. If we stood up to be warriors now, all we're going to do is, what are we going to do? We're going to draw attention. It's not the time to draw attention to ourselves. That's not how this works. Well, it does. I mean, you can do that. But what ends up happening again is that they continue to take this thing further. And then they're going to say, now, guess what? You're in quarantine even longer because you're not paying attention. Now, there's a time when we stand up as warriors. Yes, that's not this time. The ego itself is fighting to hold on. The ego itself is fighting right now. And why? Because we're so interconnected at this point. We're so connected to one another that they're afraid of the information that people have. We right now still have internet. You can still go do your own research and find out what's going on for yourself. Know that this is not just about the virus and this about this and that. Look at the numbers. Really do your research, you guys. I'm not going to tell you what to believe about it. I just want you guys to do the research on your own. Really look at the numbers beyond what the news is telling you. They're only going to tell you what they want you to do because they're programming your mind, your consciousness. Program yourself with other things. Go do some research. Go read. What about the young kid in Florida? Tell me about the young kid in Florida. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't typically watch the news, as you guys know. I don't do it because I don't have to do it. Why? Because I understand that this world is crazy as within, so without, as above, so below. When Mother Earth started to share your information with me, please, Ralph. You can share it at my spiritandbrew@gmail.com if you want to email it to me. That would be great. I forgot what I was talking about. Sorry, I had a brain freeze. I got redirected, and then I said, "Whoop, what?" Squirrel. But you guys, do your research, know the facts for yourself. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. I'm going to say that things were shifting, and that's what I was saying about Mother Earth herself. I talked about this years ago, in my Spirit and Coffee, and things are going to get crazier. If we don't wake up as a human race, the Earth is going to shake us off. And really, honestly, what's more scary than any virus or anything like that is Mother Earth waking up fully to shake us off, because she ain't gonna care. She ain't gonna care. We have earthquakes happening. If we don't continue to open our eyes and start to love one another and show compassion for one another and start to get back to our basic roots, then Mother Earth will send her fury even more. That means whole civilizations underwater. We've seen it. The story of Gilgamesh underwater. We've seen things go in the ice age, freeze to death. We've seen fires. There's going to be a catastrophic event if we don't wake up. So please wake up. I mean, you guys are already woke, but please go do your research. Thank you. Bless you. Gonna get lunch. Oh, go get lunch. You go eat and have a good lunch. And thank you for joining, Mel. I appreciate it. So there you have it, you guys. And I myself am going to not get lunch, but eat some breakfast. There you have it. Very good morning, DJ World Time 9, or World 9 Time. Wake up. That's it. Wake up. Know that this too shall pass, and whatever is going to come as a result of this is going to look a lot different. Don't expect it to go back to the way it was. I'm telling you this not to be cruel, but I'm telling you, don't expect it to go back to the way it was. Be ready for something completely different. It's okay if it doesn't go back to the way it was. In order for the consciousness to open up, in order for the illumination to happen, people have to wake up. And if people continue to deny or not wake up, it's going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. Remember, the magic isn't happening here in front of your face. The TV isn't going to tell you what's happening. The trick is happening behind all that. And when it's said and done, we're going to see what kind of magic these people are doing. We're going to see it. We're going to know, oh, they really did this so that they could take away that. They really did this so that this could happen. So we can bankrupt America. We can do whatever it is that we're doing. Remember, start to look at it. It's almost, go watch some really critical movies, as a matter of fact. Okay? I would highly encourage that you look at some really good movies that I like. If you guys have time to do it and you guys have access to these movies, what I'm wearing right now, The Hunger Games, is a really good one to watch. And look at the underlying message. Hope is the underlying message, right? Hope. As long as there's hope, we continue on as a species, right? So we have that. We have hope. Okay. We also looking at what is the other one? Why can't I think of the name? I can't think of the name. Why can't I think of the name? I can't think of the name. Okay, it's with another girl. She's the warrior. Go look at superhero stories. Okay. Remember the superhero within you. And I'll put a list of movies that I can think of that I think will help you understand kind of what is going on. It has another allegorical sort of underlying message for you guys to get. Watch those movies. Remember who the enemy is. The enemy is not the government. The enemy is the ego. And when the ego inserts itself into government and into these people, and they think that they are God themselves, then things start to get a little wonky. Okay. They're doing magic in the background, you guys. Just remember that. Remember the enemy is. It's not this virus. This virus is a living thing. We're trying to kill off this living thing. What is the real underlying message beyond this? Okay. Open up your eyes, do some research, do some readings. If I have articles to share, I will. Okay. I love Spider-Man. Can you easily sit and watch a ton of movies about Spider-Man? Awesome. I have Spider-Man as well. And I think we watched Wonder Woman yesterday. So there you go. The Hunger Games is a great one. And then, I can't even think of the name of it. I can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry. It's just blank. My brain is not functioning properly at this point. Awesome. You're just joining this podcast. Thanks. So we is it Heather or Hev Max Reiki Master? Yay, we like Reiki Masters. I love Reiki Masters. I have a question for you, Reiki Master. If you could just do, and I'm sure you're already doing this because you understand the connection of the lungs and what's going on and the lungs of the earth and energy. If you could just, for us, especially my followers, with your intentions in mind, are there your intentions of my followers and the people of all the world, actually, to do some energy healing of the lungs? And I don't know what that would look like, maybe on yourself or, a friend or something, but with the intention of healing the lungs of the planet, and sending out some good vibrational energy to the lungs, so that people can remember that our respiratory system is probably the most magnificent thing. The heart and the lungs are so critical. All of our organs are critical, but we cannot live without breath. That's it. We are the breath of life. It's the one thing we're never taught how to do. It just happens naturally. We don't even know we're doing it. Right. And that our lungs can be healed and purified, and that the lungs of the earth be purified through new growth of Mother Nature's beautiful trees and plants and vegetation that help us to breathe. So thank you. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. And I will do my own. I did a meditation on the lungs, but I appreciate that so much. I think if we join together and do this lung thing, right, and remember that Mother herself has lungs and that we've suffocated her lungs for so long, and if we can join together to open up the lungs of Mother Earth, that we ourselves will be able to get over this thing because our lungs will be opened. Okay. So a lot to unpack here. Do your own research, please, about what's going on. Know the facts, understand, and look and remember the veil of Maya is being shown to us. It's going to get crazier before it gets better. I promise. Nothing to be afraid of. Believe in God. Okay. Love you guys. Have the most blessed day ever. And of course, I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Stay healthy, stay strong. Make sure you do some breath work. Send some extra love to your lungs today. And then try to exude that energy back out to Mother Earth. Go hug a tree. Go love a tree for giving us the oxygen that we need. And everything else. You are so welcome, Lolo. And go dance your little heart out or whatever you're going to do. Go build a fort. Go have a tea party. Put on a crazy hat. I don't know. But have fun with life, okay? There's still joy. Why? Because we have the joy within us, okay? So I love you guys. Have a great day. And I will be seeing y'all tomorrow. Bye.